Let us not forget everything that happens. It's by the will of Allah. Holy will. It's time to unite and stand, and we will be the best amongst men. It's not time to be extreme or duty unthinkable, but to stand together as one. Tune into Sunnah followers, streaming every day, various platforms. Trust me, you'll find a way. Sunnah followers.
Assalamu alaikum. Please mark your calendars. Starting this Friday, March 1st, we will be replacing the 6 p.m. Eastern Aqidah class, Al-Wala Wal-Bara class, with a special program for the month of Ramadan. Please join Ustada Lailanasheeba for the first 7 days of Ramadan with a preparation course. Allow her to walk you every day after that with the fiqh of fasting. Don't forget, mark your calendars, and we're streaming it right here on Sunnahfollowers.
Ina alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulullah. Welcome everybody to the second day. I repeat, the second day. I repeat again, the second day of Ramadan 2024. Alhamdulillah. And for those of you who are new to fasting, your body will become acclimated to it. In other words, your body will become used to it. The worst week, excuse me, there we go. The hardest week is the first week of fasting. And then after that, your body will have adjusted and it'll get a little, the second week will get a little easier. And then by the third week, it'll be part of your habit. You know, it shouldn't be a hardship at all. Now, let me address the children, the cheering. You have to tell yourself as children, your personal jinn is going to do everything in his power to try to get you to stop eating. I mean, to start back to eating, to sneak. You know, he's going to tell you, okay, your mom's upstairs, so you can run downstairs and eat a bowl of cereal, or you can run downstairs and sneak a Pop-Tart or something, or sneak something to drink. I want the cheering to remember that you can't hide from Allah. Allah is aware of everything that we do. You can fool your mother. You may even can fool yourself, but you can never fool Allah. He is the all-hearing, the all-seeing, the all-knowing. And remember, we all have an angel. You have an angel assigned to your right and an angel assigned to your left, Raqib and Atid, and they write down all your actions. Everything you say out your mouth, they write it down. Every action that you do, they write it down. And it's going to be held against you. So I want the cheering to remember, you're not fooling Allah. Okay, so be careful. And remember, Allah loves for you to sacrifice for him. That's what Ramadan is all about, making sacrifices for Allah. Allah loves for us to sacrifice for him. This is how we earn his love. A lot of you children, you enjoyed my classes on the companions of the Prophet, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and Mukhtar's classes on Surat al-Rasul and the Caliphate of Abu Bakr and all of that. And a lot of you asked the question, how can I be strong like them? I want to be like Abu Bakr. I want to be like Hani. I want to be like these companions. Well, what made Allah love them is the fact that they were able to restrain themselves. They sacrificed for Allah. They gave up their food. They gave up their drink for however long to show their love and commitment to Allah. And just realize it, kids, you're not fasting that long. It's just, we fast until what, 7:30? That's it. And by the time Ramadan ends, we'll be breaking our fast at 8 o'clock. So we're not doing 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock like in the summer. In the summer, we fast, you know, from 4 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. We're not even doing that. The days are short. The days are not long. That's the mercy of Allah. So when your personal jinn starts whispering to you, trying to get you to break your fast and all of that, and trying to tell you that it's hard, it's not hard. And we're going to talk about that today. Mercy. Because a lot of people ask the question, why is it that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam referred to Ramadan as being the month of mercy? Well, we're going to talk about that today. So for the parents here, before I get started too, I want to remind everybody, we have another class tonight, the 9 o'clock class. At 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I'll be logging back in to do the Hadith class. And we'll be talking about the Hadiths whereas the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam warned us against certain actions, certain behaviors that can take us away from Allah. So we have a 9 o'clock class tonight too. And also, before we get started, I want to remind everybody, please, please, please donate. This is the month in which all good deeds are multiplied. Allah rewards more for your good deeds during this month than any other month of the year. So please donate to support Sunnah followers. You can scan the QR code there, or you can go to, in fact, let me put it here, HTTP. Hold on. HTTP. Since I learned, go to PayPal me/Sunnahfollowers. I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to pin it. I'm going to, inshallah, pin it. Is that pinned? Did I pin it, guys? Pin it on YouTube for you guys. Please go to either PayPal me/Sunnahfollowers, or you can go directly to our website at sunnahfollowers.net and click on make a donation. And for those of you who are living in America who have Zelle, I like Zelle better because Zelle doesn't charge money like PayPal does. You can Zelle at Laila, Laila at sunnahfollowers.net. Okay. All right. So let's get started, because today we're going to speak about what it means when you hear us say that Ramadan is the month of mercy. And for the parents, you should have your children gathered to learn. You know, we have an hour left on the East Coast. There's an hour left of fasting. If your children, they should be fasting the whole day, especially if they're over the age of 10. Anybody 10 years old or older should be fasting the whole day. This is when the fast gets kind of tiring. The last hour before we break it, that's when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's companions would say that when they saw the children getting tired, we would let them play with their toys. Well, inshallah, this is the last hour on the East Coast. Put me on a big screen TV. Go to channel Sunnah Followers. This is our own channel Sunnah Followers on YouTube. Okay. Log in there. Put me on the big screen TV, and the kids can watch. And I heard they even see the chat box, so the children can participate in today's class and learn. Because that's what fasting is all about, to bring us closer to Allah, to help us to become better Muslims, so you get close to Allah by learning about him. So put me on the big screen TV, let the kids watch me. I'll put a joke in here and there, and I got my eyes on you kids. Can't hide from me either. I can see you laughing, Tasleen. I see you, Tasleen. Settle down and stop harassing your sister. Okay, so you guys sit around the TV and watch me, and the parents, you can stay on your cell phones or whatnot and take the screenshots for the kids. because I want you to screenshot the PowerPoints. So let me set this up and we can get started, inshallah. Hold on, let me take this down too. Well, wait a minute. And you know, the kids, I know they say, Layla, don't never. Y'all know I'm getting better. What can I say, cheering? I'm getting better, cheering, with this streaming thing. Okay, let me start it off on Zoom with share them to my PowerPoint first. You know, the old ladies. The old ladies is in the Zoom room. The sick old women. Yeah, they in there. Yeah, okay, let me share them. Uh-oh, what did I do? Wait a minute, let's make it bigger. Okay, and for you guys are going to see the screen. Okay, give me a second, YouTubers. Ramadan Day 2 should pop up. This is my PowerPoint, Ramadan Day 2. There it is. And okay, here we go. And now I'm going to make it big screen. I got to go to the PowerPoint to do that. Here it is. Okay, let's look at this PowerPoint. Okay, so here we go. And you guys can take a screenshot of this. It's the first page. This is Ramadan 2024, day 2. This is the second day of Ramadan. And today we're going to be discussing how Ramadan is the month of mercy, because that's a question that people ask. And not only am I going to tell you why it's that month, I'm going to speak about the importance of mercy. And this is something that everybody, the children and your parents, the adults, myself too, all of us as Muslims should be working on developing mercy as a characteristic. All right. So let's start off by talking about it. What is mercy? Well, mercy is a blessing from Allah, and he gives it to whoever he wills. What does that mean? That means not all human beings are merciful. A lot of the people say, Sister Layla, how is it that a person can hurt another human being? How is it that a person can hurt another human being and not feel bad about it? How is it that you can hurt an animal and not feel bad about it? That's because these people have no mercy. The criminals, they have no mercy in their heart. They don't care. They'll steal your car and not think twice about it. No, they don't feel bad about it. They'll beat you up and not feel bad about it because they have no mercy in their heart. So mercy is a gift that comes from Allah, and he only gives it to whoever he loves. If Allah doesn't love you, he's not going to give you no mercy. And for those of us who do show mercy to other people and the rest of Allah's creation, Allah will show mercy to them. So a lot of people will come to me and say, Sister Layla, why is it that that sister over there seems to get anything she wants? You know, she got a husband, she's got a nice car, she's got a nice house, her children are good and respectable, but I don't have nothing. And I say, take a good look at that sister. That sister has a nice house and husband and car, but look at her. She's always volunteering for the food bank at the mosque. She goes to the mosque every month and helps with the food bank. She also babysits the children. She also goes to the Islamic school and helps out at the school. You can call on that sister for anything, and she's always the first to respond. She donates to the mosque. She helps people in need. She's a person of mercy. So that's why Allah shows mercy to her. So we have to think about it, guys. You know, instead of being jealous of other people, you know, look at what they do, the good deeds that they do. And then ask yourself, maybe you're falling short. If the mosque asks you for money, you always say you ain't got none, even though you do. You rather buy your son a pair of Nike tennis shoes that he didn't even need, rather than give that $100 as a donation to the mosque. You know, a lot of us, don't have mercy. And the sad reality is you will never be a true believer unless you do have mercy. Mercy is a characteristic that every Muslim on this planet should work on developing. If you don't have it, you need to do what it takes to get it. Does everybody understand that? 2 characteristics, patience and mercy. Allah commands us to be patient. Allah commands us to be merciful. Okay, so mercy is a gift that comes from Allah. For those of us who don't have it, we need to make dua, asking Allah to give it to us. And we need to surround ourselves with people who are merciful and try to imitate them. And we need to pretend to be merciful. And then eventually we'll develop it. Listen to what Allah says and the interpretation, the meaning. And yet after everything, your hearts became hard like rocks, or even harder. Now, again, not everyone is merciful. The more sins you commit, in other words, the more you deliberately, intentionally disobey Allah, the less mercy you will have in your heart. What do I mean by that? You sisters who do not wear hijab, you sisters who are not covering up when you leave the house, you don't have the mercy in your heart that a sister who does has, because you're deliberately, intentionally, and openly disobeying Allah. So that's why you're not as merciful as others. The brothers who are shaving their beards, you're disobeying Allah. So that means you don't have the mercy in your heart that a brother who does have a beard has. The more sins we commit, the less merciful you become. The more you disobey Allah, the less mercy you'll have in your heart. And every time you do disobey Allah, a stain embarks upon your heart, and your heart becomes hard like a rock. So you look at criminals and you say, how could he have done that, Layla? How could he have hurt that animal? How could he have hurt that human being? Look at him. He smokes cigarettes. He smokes marijuana. He fornicates. He drinks alcohol. He robs. He disrespects his mother. So of course he can strangle a cat. Of course he can hurt a human being. He ain't got no mercy in his heart. Look at all the sins he's committing. Look at all the sins that she's committing. This is what the children of Israel did too. The children of Israel, even though Allah saved them from Pharaoh, even though Allah parted the Red Sea to let them get across, they still chose to disobey him. So that's why Allah said, and even after everything I've done for you, you still have a hard heart. You have no mercy in your heart. And also Allah says, for breaking your pledge, we rejected them and caused their hearts to harden. So every time we disobey Allah, every time we fail to pray our prayers, we fail to dress the way Allah commands us to dress, we're not fasting. That's why I want you kids to think about it. Don't try to break your fast. Because every time you break your fast, your heart becomes hard and the mercy disappears. And you'll end up becoming a criminal. So sin and disobedience, they are the main reasons as to why people can be bad. People can do bad things to others. All right? Another reason as to why people lack mercy is because of arrogance. Arrogance. You want to be seen. You think you better than other people. You always looking down on people because of the money you have, because of your titles. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation, the meaning. Verily, man becomes grossly overweening whenever he believes himself to be self-sufficient. Okay, this is the problem with human beings. Allah will bless some of us with money, or bless some of us with clothes, or bless some of us with nice things, with beauty, intelligence. And instead of us thanking Allah for that, we become arrogant. We start to look down on other people. We start to think that we're better than other people, that we got it all together and we can't be corrected, and we, and all of that. So, the more arrogant we become, the less mercy we have in our heart. In fact, the more arrogant you become, the more disobedient to Allah you will become, and the more criminal you will become. Subhanallah. Arrogant people are the ones that end up fornicating, drinking alcohol, and all of that stuff, and taking drugs. Arrogant men are the ones that have no respect for their wives. They treat their wives badly. Arrogant women are the ones that have no respect for their husbands and disrespect their husbands and disobey them. So arrogance is another cause of a lack of mercy. So we have to free ourselves of that. Also, and this is a big one, and I want all you Muslim women to pay attention, because again, Ramadan is the month in which you can see who the strong Muslims are from the weak. A lot of you women are fasting. This is the second day. Even on the first day, some of you became weak. Oh, I'm sick. I'm about to die. Oh, I'm throwing up. Oh, I'm about to die. You ain't about to die because you going a few hours without eating. Get it together, kid. Gluttony. If you are one of those people that think you're going to die because you can't go 8 hours without stuffing your face, that's a gluttony. That's a person that's greedy. That's a person that has no self-control. And I want you people to understand that gluttony and saturation, that leads to contempt and recklessness. The month of Ramadan, this is the month where we get to control our greed, our piggishness when it comes to food. To learn to push back from the table. You eat too much. That's your problem. You're too lazy from all the food you taking in. We have to control ourselves. The fasting person is a person that fasts is a person that's merciful. Why? Because when you fast, you get to experience what it feels like to not have enough. That hunger that you're experiencing, that thirst that you're experiencing, understand you only got to go through it for 8 hours. There's people in Gaza. There's people in China. There's people in Africa. There's people right here in America who don't have nothing to break their fast with. They're going to feel that pain 24/7. So that causes you to be more merciful and say, wait a minute, what am I doing? Psyching myself out. I'm not going to sit here and allow my personal jinn to make me think that I'm getting ready to die because I'm going 8 hours without eating, when there's people in the world who don't get to eat at all. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I ain't no pig. I'm not a glutton. So you got to fight shaitan. Fight your personal jinn. That's for you women and children. Fight your personal jinn who's trying to make you think that you about to die because you going 8 hours. And also, it's a sign of gluttony. It's a sign that this is a bad characteristic that Allah hates. This is a sign that you need to work on ridding yourself of this. You need to learn self-control, self-restraint. Allah hates a gluttony, a person of gluttony. Okay? So think about how Allah hates it. When that jinn tells you to think you about to die. Oh, well, Allah just might make you die. You don't want that to happen, do you? You better control it. Okay? So again, as Muslims, we are required to have this characteristic. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam made dua. He said, "Oh Allah, whoever is entrusted with authority over the affairs of the Muslim and makes it hard for them, make it hard for him. And whoever is entrusted with an affair of the Muslims and is kind towards them, then be kind towards him." So here you can see the Prophet made dua against those Muslims who are hard on each other. Remember, it's not about being sympathetic. It's about being empathetic. And there's a difference. We don't go around sympathizing, but we do empathize. Okay? Don't make life hard on yourself. For you Muslims that are fasting, that shouldn't be. Let's talk about that. I got some elderly, sick women here who know that they ain't got no business fasting because you got health problems. Allah has absolved you of fasting. He said all you have to do is pay the ransom. Pay the ransom. But instead of you obeying Allah, you're obeying your jinn. Your jinn is whispering into your heart, trying to make you think that because you're not fasting, you're getting a less reward than a person that is, when that's a lie. That's not true. So you're going to disobey Allah and not take his concession and basically commit suicide or harm yourself by fasting. You are a person that has no mercy. You don't have mercy on yourself. And that's what I have to remind the old women here on my website who got feeble in their heads, where they're going to try to make themselves fast, knowing that there's something that they are not supposed to do because it's a hardship for them. Okay? So mercy works two ways. We have to be merciful towards ourselves too. You know, you take advantage of the concessions of Allah. If you are a person that has a chronic illness, you know, don't try to kill yourself by making it hard on yourself, by making life difficult for you, by trying to fast. Instead, you take advantage of the concessions of Allah and pay the mercy. So again, anyone who makes life difficult, even on himself, Allah is going to make it difficult on you. You understand that, people? We oppress our Allah and we also oppress ourselves. Also, another supplication. These people are calling here when I'm doing the class. Another supplication that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam made. He said, whoever oversees an affair for my nation and disappeared or abandoned them without fulfilling their needs while impoverishing them, Allah will debar him or keep him from his needs and impoverish him on the day of judgment. So again, guys, these are two hadiths that illustrate how being merciful towards yourself and others is an obligation upon us. You would never be a believer unless you have mercy in your heart for others. And even for people like myself and the imams, we have to show mercy to our students. How does a teacher show mercy to their students? By leading them to the easiest and best ways to get close to Allah, which is what I try to do. That's why I don't teach from no method. I don't teach you what the four imams said or did. I don't care what they said or did. I teach you what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and if it's something that's not clear, I'll give you the understanding of the companions, because they were the best, and they only differed on 4 issues. That's it, just 4 issues, and those are related to the prayer. So again, guys, don't make this religion hard on people, you know, by telling them that everything is haram when it's not. That's making it hard too. You want to tell women, for example, it's haram for them to be beautiful. Who said that? Allah created them beautiful. Allah loves beauty. You don't tell women it's haram to be beautiful. You don't tell women it's haram for them to wear nice clothes. Allah says in the Quran, oh, you who believe, that means women and men, wear your most beautiful garments to the mosque, to the house of Allah. So where do you brothers get off telling Muslim women that they can't wear beautiful clothing to the mosque when Allah commands us to do that? You're being hard. You're not having mercy for the women. You're telling women they can't wear makeup. The Prophet's wives wore makeup. Who told you that they can't wear makeup? Where's your evidence? Stop imposing conditions in this religion that go against the nature of a woman, because all you're doing is breaking them and creating a lot of apostation. And you brothers, and by the way, you brothers who call yourselves scholars, y'all gonna answer to Allah, because it's a lot of women who have apostated from this deen because they followed you, listened to you, and you told them because Allah made them a woman, it was a mistake, and she has to turn into a cyclops and be deprived of a good life here. You brothers are going to answer to Allah for that. All these women that apostated following y'all on y'all social medias and believe the garbage y'all told them, you're going to pay for that. So mercy demands that the teacher and scholars be gentle with our students, lead them to the easiest and best ways. Listen to what Allah said to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the interpretation of the meaning. It was by the grace of Allah, O Prophet, that you deal gently with your followers, because if you had been hard of heart with them, they would have broken away from you. And that's why we have a high apostasy rate of women in Islam. Women convert to Islam every day and check back with them 2 years later. Most of them apostate because they hook up with these brothers on the internet who tell them that they can't show their face, they can't show their hands, they can't wear colors, they can't be beautiful, they can't talk, they can't walk, they can't. You brothers are hard, and you make up stuff that ain't true. You turn the religion into something ugly. You make the religion ugly. And you will, I'm telling you, brothers, you will answer to Allah for it. Mark my words, you will. Okay? And also even the imam should not be difficult. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever from you leads the people in prayer must make it easy, because there is amongst them people who are old, sick, young, and needy. So what does that mean? That means when you brothers do lead the people in prayer, you know, you can't have the people standing up for hours. You don't recite the entire Surah Baqarah. You don't recite the entire Surah of Ali Imran and leave the people standing up there for an hour when they got to get to work, or you got old people, sick people. We have a hadith whereas Mu'ad, may Allah be pleased with him, and I gave you his story. His mother, this was the son of Mani, Mu'ad, who the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent as an ambassador to Yemen. And he also said, nobody understands the lawful and the unlawful better than Mu'adh. Well, the word got out. A man came to the prophet and was talking to him and saw Mu'adh walking. He said, oh, I don't want to pray behind him. I hate to pray with him. And the prophet said, why? He said, because he makes us stand up for a long period. The prophet got angry. He went to Mu'adh and said, oh, Mu'adh, are you a troublemaker? Are you a troublemaker? Are you a troublemaker? You're going to make the people hate to pray because you got them standing up too long. What would the prophet say to you brothers who are sitting up on social platforms telling Muslim women that they can't show their face, they can't show their hands, they can't wear colors, they can't leave the house ever, they can't talk, they can't do this, they can't. What would the prophet call you? If he called Mu'adh a troublemaker, what would he call you? Because what you're doing is worse than that. Because you're imposing rules and laws that don't exist in this religion to oppress women. Are you a troublemaker? What are you? Are you a woman hater? Were you dropped on your head by your mom? I don't know. But you brothers need to stop. Also, mercy dictates that for those of us who call to Allah, we do it. We got to know when to hold and when to fold, as I say. When you're dealing with the hypocrites, Allah commands us in the Quran, be harsh with them. And there's a lot of hypocrites amongst us. But for those Muslims who are sincere and they're coming to you seeking the religion, we have to do it with tenderness, with gentleness. This is what Allah even advised to Moses and Aaron when he sent them to Pharaoh for their first meeting. The first meeting, he said, don't go to Pharaoh all rough and tough. Because if you go to him rough and tough, you're going to make him become rough and tough back at you. He said, speak to him in a mild manner so that he might think of himself or at least be filled with apprehension. Don't go to him being rough and tough. Okay? Also, Allah says when you call people to Allah's way, call with wisdom and argue in a kind way. Okay? But that's not what we see today. We see these Muslim brothers and sisters with their dawah booths. They set their little tables up on the street. We imitate the Jehovah Witness. We call them Jehovah Witness Muslims. The prophet said we will imitate the Christians in everything they do. Well, we got the Jehovah Witness Muslims. They set their little dawah tables up in the middle of the street like the Jehovah Witnesses do. And the people going about their business, that you're going to call them out. Hey, get over here. Hey, you a Christian? Hey. And you sit there and debate with them, which that is not what we're supposed to do anyway. Okay. Or you got these other dawah brothers. They sit around and it's like they suck up to the non-Muslims. They're apologetic. They feel the need to have to explain why they're a Muslim and why we're not like the kafir. And you got all the patience in the world with them. But then you'll come on a Islamic website like mine and try to jump crunk with me. And I'm a Muslim. I know my deen. You try to jump crump with me, a woman, but to these kafirs and be all apologetic, yes, sir, and yes, ma'am, them. But you disrespect your brothers and sisters in Islam. This is how we are today. That's not mercy. We're supposed to be merciful with the believers, harsh with the unbelievers. Also, even for the parents, because we have to show mercy towards our children. You got to know when to hold and when to fold with them. We don't go around spoiling our children, and we don't go around abusing them. We seek the middle course. Remember, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said kindness was never given to anything without beautifying it. And whatever lacks kindness is what's made ugly. So we have to show kindness with our parents, kindness with our children, kindness with our students, kindness with the people in our community that we're in charge of. If you are in a position of authority, a position of power, you have to show kindness to the right people. You got to know how to be harsh too with the hypocrites. And I don't see that. Okay. So now the question becomes, how can I become more merciful during this month of Ramadan? Because we may all look at ourselves and see that we're lacking in mercy. Well, the way to become merciful is by disciplining yourself through doing good deeds, doing more good deeds, more sacrifice, giving of yourself to help others, giving of yourself for the sake of Allah. That's why I'm telling you people, you adults and children, you become tempted to break your fast. You better think about how that's a sign that you don't have no mercy in your heart. So I'm not going to give in to that. I'm going to sacrifice for Allah. And in turn, Allah will give you more mercy. Okay? So we have to work on this. And again, we work on it by number one, stopping all intentional actions of disobedience. For you sisters who do not wear hijab, you sisters who do not dress right, you need to start wearing hijab and dressing in abayas the way Allah commands us to. You don't have to look like no cyclops. Allah didn't make you a cyclops. And the Prophet's wives didn't cover their faces either. I tell y'all that. We're not cyclops. But you do have to wear an overgarment. When you leave the house, put on an overgarment to hide your shape. Okay? And draw your kimar over your bosom. Make sure that your hijab is covering your bosom. Make sure the top of your feet are covered. You're wearing closed-toed shoes. You can wear any color you want to. You can wear makeup too, as long as your makeup is in good taste like this woman here and like my makeup. You know, as long as you're not looking like a prostitute, makeup is good and clean, it's lawful. And you know how a prostitute looks. So make yourself beautiful. You're representing Allah. You're representing his deen. Allah loves beauty. So beautify yourself the way Allah says we can and obey him. Stop smoking cigarettes. Cigarettes is haram. You should be wearing them Nicoderm patches right now. By the end of the month of Ramadan, you should have kicked the habit of smoking. The Nicoderm patches work and most insurances cover it. You got welfare insurance? They cover the Nicoderm patch. Okay? So stop disobeying Allah. Stop committing sins. And that'll make your heart that's been hardened soften up. And also rid yourself of arrogance. Stop thinking that you know it all. Stop thinking that you know your deen when you don't. Stop thinking that can't nobody correct you, that you don't make mistakes, that you better than others. Rid yourself of arrogance. And also, big one, stop overindulging in food. Stop overindulging in the pleasures of life, such as eating too much, drinking too much relations with your husband. Remember, Islam is a religion of balance. Everything in balance. Also, don't be so hard on your children. Don't be so hard on your parents. That's a reminder for me too, because it takes patience to deal with old parents. Also, don't be so hard on the people in your communities who are seeking help from you. And if you are dire like me, don't be so hard on your students. So these are things that we can do, guys, that will jumpstart us in our journey, and the journey of trying to develop mercy within our hearts so we can get closer to Allah. Again, unless you are merciful to others, you can never call yourself a believer. And remember, this is what Ramadan is all about: changing myself, changing the condition of myself to that which is pleasing to my Lord.